Hello, I'm Gary Whillock, and we're at a project today. Actually, it's a house that I did over 13 years ago. The original people that we did it for have sold the house a couple of years ago, I understand. And at that time, they had to do a couple of repairs, I guess where it ties in from the house to the carport, which is a really long, a very extended roof. Now, I'm going to raise the camera up so you can see this is a typical of this neighborhood 3-tab shingle roof, and it's got a chimney, it's got some other things. It's going to be interesting to see what we find up there, but I understand it's developed a couple of more leaks. Now, installing shingles on a low pitch roof, anything under a 412 pitch I really don't like, and I really don't recall where we were back then. Probably was an insurance job, probably only had a single layer of felt, maybe not even 30-pound, probably 15-pound felt installed. Now the problem with that is low pitch roofs will let water backtrack on the shingles, the liquid adhesion, molecular attraction, there's so many names for it. But the bottom line, when water gets between two products like shingles, especially like shingles, because of the granules on it, water can backtrack and seep in. It's usually a small leaking process until it gets really bad. So that's why we don't like that. Now today, if I were to do this with our demand that we now have for shingles, I would probably not get this job. Most of my competition, honestly, almost all my competition, will still do jobs with just felt on a very, very low pitch because that's the way it was when they tore the roof off. I'm starting to really believe that's probably not the best way to do it. This house needs something like a ice and water shield at the very least on the entire thing, and then shingles back over that. Now, the other problem with that is this tends to be a little bit of a windy area. I know there's been several windstorms through here. And with a windy area, you've got a 3-tab, which is the very basic. In fact, as the shingle manufacturers call a 3-tab shingle a strip shingle. That tells you a little bit about what they think about a 3-tab shingle, a strip shingle. It's basic granule colors on shingle material. Has very, 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 very minimal life expectancy beyond the 13 years that this already had. Now I know you're going to have manufacturers where they're telling you that these things are going to last for 200 or 300 years, lifetime. Well, let's say you lived a long time. My oldest client's 106 years old. That's a lifetime. If you read it carefully, they say a lifetime is really only 50 years. Nobody should last longer than 50 years. Okay, 50 years. If shingles were to last 20 years in Texas sun, or if they were to last 25 years, that would be an absolute miracle. But 50 years, lifetime, all this is just selling bull. We'll stop at that. We're going to go up on top and take a look and see what we find, what's causing the leaks. But after 13 years sitting out in this Texas sun with water not draining very rapidly off of this low pitch roof, I'm guessing the shingles are going to be in bad shape. But we're going to go take a look. Okay, now this really is a low and long area to have to run off for any kind of a shingle roof. The shingles from this latter point of view look pretty good. I'm very impressed that they've lasted this well. Let's take a better look. This has really lasted very, very well. You see, even back 13 years ago, we were using screws, not nails. Here is a nail pop right there that came up through the shingle. Here is a piece of decking that's gone bad and a nail pop. The decking is not holding the nails in, and otherwise the shingles overall are looking much better than I thought. Now I can tell by walking on them they're very, very brittle, and definitely at the end of their life We've got some tree issues. I understand that this was one of the areas where we've got some leaking, and you see pieces of shingles, so we know we got some broken shingles under there, and that's inevitable. Got a tree growing over it. This is before we started doing the counter flashing on the pipes, and you see the caulking is cracking on that one. It's already cracked on this one and had to be redone. It looks like this is actually maybe a new pipe installed. I'm not sure. They've had a couple people work on it, and they don't know the whole history because they are not the owners that I did the work for. Now this is really, I don't know if we did this counter flashing. Don't think so. If so, somebody's caulked it since we've been here, and that would not have been something we've done. Step flashing, you see there, a nice base flashing, screwed down. That would be typical of what we would have done and still do. So what we've got here is a roof that's nearing the end of its life. It's probably got a few areas that could be repaired, but since they say they have 3 leaks, I'm guessing that there's seeping going on in this low pitch. On the back, it's only about a 212 pitch roof, and that's really not enough, even though many people will do that roof for you. The insurance wanted to replace it because that's what was there. You've got ridge vent, not ideal if you read that manufacturer's information for a low pitch roof. And we're going to be recommending that they do maybe some temporary repairs, but prepare for a new roof. And on that new roof, we're going to be looking at least ice and water shield under a 3-tab shingle. And this shingle has held up real well. This is a Certainteed shingle, and at that time, that was the one that we primarily did as a certified Certainteed installer. We had several of them on our team, and that's the shingle that we were doing. This is the cobblestone gray, and as you can see, colors actually stayed very well. Not even a lot of algae on this, which I'm really surprised. Now there is some. You can see below the pipes that you see the white streaks. That's where the zinc in the pipe flashing kept algae from building up. But actually, much better than I would have ever thought for a 13-year-old 3-tab roof in an area of town that is notorious for wind. And a couple of areas, decking has come loose. You just never know why. Maybe too much moisture on the inside. Could be because of a slight leak from this low pitch. It's very low down on the roof. Caused the decking to start coming apart, those nails back out. That could be the problem. So we're going to see what they want to do, see if they want to do a search and locate for those particular leaks and repair those, or if they want to go ahead and make that jump to a little bit higher quality installation of a roof, and that would be with an ice and water shield beneath the shingles for a secondary barrier. Not my ideal, because when you have water underneath the shingles, that deteriorates the shingles faster, and the ice and water shield is going to even trap that there more, but at least it will prevent the decking from being affected by it. This is Gary, and there's never a perfect situation for old homes that used to have rock roofs on them like this one actually had. No doubt about it, this would have been a rock roof. There was a number of them around the area that we replaced 10, 12, 15 years ago, but they're just about a thing of the past, and now people are trying to figure out how to deal with it with shingles, and the insurance companies on storm damage will only pay so much. As a homeowner, prepare to do it and do it right. Do the upgrades, and then the roof will last longer. This one they probably could have got another 5 or 6, 7 years out of, but not a whole lot more than that. When you start getting at 20 years, 22 years, that's all you're going to get out of a shingle roof in this Austin, Texas heat.